Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bexar County Court at Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. I'm Judge Wayne Christian. Today is Thursday, the 13th of January, 2022. It's approximately 2:25 p.m. We have pleas and MTRs set today. We have Bexar County Veteran Treatment Court plea and probation agreements. Let's start with our MTRs. First one's cause 668-245, State of Texas versus Carlos Escamilla, represented by Mr. Arnulfo Ortiz. Mr. Ortiz, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Well done. Second one is cause 655-258, State of Texas versus Alex Lobig, represented by Ms. Alma Benavides. Ms. Benavides, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Let's start with Mr. Escamilla. This is cause 668-245, State of Texas versus Carlos Escamilla, represented by Mr. Arnulfo Ortiz. Representing the state is Mr. Ross Lewis, and representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Ms. Gross, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. And Mr. Escamilla's case is a first amended motion to revoke community supervision. The first document I'm looking at on Mr. Escamilla's case is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference, which purports to have both Mr. Escamilla's signature and his attorney, Mr. Ortiz's signature on it. In fact, Mr. Escamilla, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Ortiz, as attorney for Mr. Escamilla, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has a right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. In fact, Mr. Escamilla, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Ortiz, once again, as attorney for Mr. Escamilla, is this your signature on this document?
It is. It is, Your Honor.
Okay, this is a first amended motion to revoke community supervision. My understanding is this is an uncontested first amended motion to revoke community supervision. Is that correct, Mr. Ortiz?
It is.
Mr. Escamilla, and cause 668-245 on the first amended motion to revoke community supervision. How do you plead, sir?
True.
Thank you.
August.
If anybody is not specifically talking to us right now, just turn your microphone off, and then when we ask you a question, you can turn it back on. Thanks. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Escamilla's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Escamilla was just placed on probation December 9th, 2021. We have yet to see him in the office, so to speak. He was visited in jail on January 10th. There have been no payments made. He has a balance of $1,325 and is currently delinquent $146. We have no proof of any of his community service having been completed, and we have no proof of enrollment or completion of DWI education, victim impact panel, or CATSNP. As he has yet to be seen, we have no UAs on file. He is currently testing on the Smart Start mobile device 4 times per day and has had a high BRAC on December 13th of 0.051. This is his first violation report, first MTR. He has no criminal history, and his officer is requesting that the court increase his Smart Start mobile to 6 times per day.
Okay, with regard to Mr. Escamilla, is it the probation department's position that he was supposed to report a certain number of times and did not? Is that what you're telling me?
No, the case is so new that he has not had the opportunity to report yet. And with the warrant being active, I think it just hasn't happened yet because it's such a new case.
I've got you. So the biggest issue is we're drinking still. Is that kind of where we're at?
Yes, Your Honor, that is our major concern.
Okay, Mr. Ortiz, what are you requesting?
Did we follow the recommendation of the probation and the recommendation from Mr. Lewis?
And state, what is your recommendation?
My recommendation is the same as probation officer's recommendation. However, I would also add substantial compliance within 30 days and including signing up for his classes within 10 days of being released. And I would also recommend adding zero tolerance.
That is in fact our agreement.
Okay, Mr. Ortiz, of all people in the world, you are well aware that any agreement made between the state and the defense on Motions to revoke community supervision, I do not have to follow. Is that your understanding of the law?
I'm familiar with the Judge Wayne Christian courtroom. Yes, Your Honor, I know you're gonna do what you're
That's
gonna
not
do.
only my angle and theory and evaluation of it, it's the law in the state of Texas. Do you agree?
Yes, sir, I agree.
Thank you. All right, let me do some checking here. Hey, Mr. Escamilla, you gonna stop drinking for us?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good answer, sir. And is this new case, public intoxication, still out there open somewhere?
No paperwork has yet been received.
State, are
I
you
don't know
gonna
that he served the time. I don't know that he served the time because he took him 14 days to end up in front of you. But I will be taking care of that.
Well, we might be able to take care of it right now is what I'm getting at. Is
No,
that
it's
a,
in New Braunfels, Your Honor. It's in New
oh, it's in
Braunfels.
Comal. Okay, I've got you. All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Escamilla, on cause 668-245, the court accepts your plea of true on the first amended motion to revoke community supervision. I deny the state's motion to revoke your community supervision, or you continued on community supervision with all prior requirements and no sanction at this time. Although I have the authority to put you in jail for 30 days to get your attention. Will that be necessary, sir?
No, sir.
Another good
Attention, Scott.
answer, sir. Thank you. Altering amending conditions, modifying your Smart Start mobile device from 4 blows a day to 6 blows a day within 24 hours if possible, and adding weekly UAs. And Mr. Ortiz, when I'm doing that, if he shows me a clean 30-day period of time without missing any blows at 6 blows a day, without posting any high bracks for alcohol, if you let me know at the end of that 30-day period of time, I'll crank him back down to 4 again because he's done good, okay?
Yes, sir.
And then on the weekly UAs, if he shows me 4 clean weekly UAs in a row, I'll put him back on monthly UAs. But once again, I won't know he's done that if he does it. And he's got to tell you, you got to tell me, and then I'll get it substantiated by probation and we'll do it.
Yes, sir.
All right. And let's see. Let's do substantial compliance within 10 days. And by that, I mean, I want him registered for anything he's not registered for that he needs to do. He may not start it immediately, but at least he'll be registered for it and he knows what's coming. He needs to catch up on his monies. And Susan, what did I miss? What else do we need to do?
I believe that's all, Judge. I just need to give him some instructions when you're done.
Okay, that's the name of that tune. State, what else did I miss?
I think that's it, Judge.
All right. Mr. Escamilla, have you got any questions, sir?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Ortiz, you got any questions? You always got a question. No question?
No, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Arnulfo. And go ahead, Susan, would you brief Mr. Escamilla what he needs to do?
All right, Mr. Escamilla, I will be sending conditions that you will need to sign to your email later this afternoon. Once you get out of jail, you need to sign those documents and return them to me. I'm going to notify your officer today to increase your Smart Start mobile tests. I will tell him to email you so that those will also be in your email and you will know what time your new blows will be, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I think I have to pay for, since I've been in custody, I think I have to pay for the Smart Start this month to reactivate it.
Okay, so
Can you send instructions for that too?
you'll have to get with your officer on that. So as soon as you get out of jail, touch base with your officer, but I will have him change your blows and email those to you, okay? But you need to reactivate that as soon as you get out.
Roger that, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck, Mr. Escamilla. Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. Y'all are dismissed. Once again, anybody whose microphone is on at this time that's not specifically talking to us, turn your microphone off so we don't get any background noise. Thank you.
Mr. Cox and Mr. Munoz, you can go into breakout room 5. All right, Jen.
At the risk of getting in trouble here, do you know where I am in the lineup here on Mr. Palindo?
Last, dead last.
Dead last. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate that.
Hang on, I really will look. Stand by.
He's
Thank you,
second to last, Your Honor.
He's
Oh,
second
my
to last.
God. I might turn my video off for a little bit until y'all get to
Oh,
me. Is
you're
that
not
okay?
dead last. You're only third from last. You're good.
Oh, okay. Peace and love.
All right, we'll get to you. All right, this is cause number 655-258, Data Texas versus Alex Lobig. This is a first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Mr. Lobig is represented by Miss Alma Benavides. And let's see, the first document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference, which purports to have both Mr. Lobig and his attorney, Ms. Benavides' signatures on it. In fact, Mr. Lobig, is this your signature on this document, sir?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Benavides, as attorney for Mr. Lobig, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal, unquote. Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. Lobig?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Benavides, as attorney for Mr. Lobig, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, it is, Judge.
Ms. Benavides, my understanding is that this is an uncontested first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
It is, Judge. It's going to be a plea of true with an explanation.
Mr. Lobig, on the first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision in case 655-258, how do you plead, sir?
True, Your Honor.
Court accepts the plea of true with an explanation. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Lobig's probation? I remind you, you're still under oath.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Lobig was placed on probation in October of 2021. He did miss his first month of reporting. We last saw him on December 17th, 2021. He is paid $197.50, has a balance of $1,241.50, and is delinquent $86.75. We have no proof of any of his 48 hours community service having been completed. He has completed the victim impact panel, and we have no proof of completion of DWI education or the CATSNP program. He has had one positive drug test for marijuana, and he has failed to submit to drug testing on one occasion. He's currently testing on Smart Start Mobile at 4 times a day, where he has had 8 skips and 2 high BRACs. The first one registering on December 2nd, 2021 at 0.024, and then a second one on January 6th of 2022 at 0.069. This is his first violation report, first MTR, and his officer is recommending that he be continued on probation, that he be placed on a Scram device, and he obtained that within 10 days, and that he shows substantial compliance within 30 days. And he has no criminal history.
We don't have any evidence of Mr. Lobig not blowing into the Smart Start Mobile at 4 blows a day, do we?
He has 8 skips, Judge.
8 skips. Okay. I got it. Ms. Benavides, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, we're asking the court to follow the recommendation made by probation to continue Mr. Lobig on probation with Scram within 10 days, substantial compliance within 30 days. He admits he got off to a rough start. He did turn himself in on Monday, January 10th. He suffers from PTSD. He's not getting any treatment for that at this time. He's willing to comply with the conditions that the court has imposed on him. And so we're asking the court to give him a chance. He did take the victim impact panel. The big problem financially is that he's going through a financial hardship right now. So we're asking the court if the court would continue him on probation to reduce whatever fees there are for Scram, and any other fees that the court could reduce his fees. That would be very helpful.
Ms. Gross, what was the original fine amount on this case, if you know?
500.
And how many hours community service? 48?
48.
Was that probated? Is Mr. Lobig a veteran?
I'm not showing it was probated.
Mr. Lobig, are you a veteran?
Yes, Your Honor.
What did you do in the military, sir? Did you hear me, sir?
I was an X-ray technician in the Army.
I got you. Did you go to the desert at all?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Okay. Where were you stationed?
Fort Hood and then Fort Wainwright, Alaska.
Wow. Fort Hood's just as dangerous as Iraq.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thanks for your service, sir. Okay. State recommendation, please.
Your Honor, the state recommendation is for adding Scrum within 10 days and actually would be showing would be showing substantial compliance also within 10 days. I would additionally recommend adding the drug offender education program to Mr. Lobig's classes.
Susan, that's a good question. Is there any benefit for someone taking the CATSNP, which is an outpatient drug course, and the DOEP course?
CATSNP is generally an all-around program covering both drugs and alcohol, whereas drug offender education is going to be drug specific.
Okay, I can cut to the chase. Mr. Lobig, you gonna stop drinking?
Yes, Your Honor.
You gonna stop smoking marijuana?
Already have, Your Honor.
All right, a good answer. Mr. Lobig, in class 6555258, the court accepts your plea of truth and explanation on the first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, assess a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service. Probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Smart Start mobile home interlock at 6 blows a day for half the term, which is 6 months. Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, which is our outpatient drug program. Weekly UAs and substantial compliance in all areas within 10 days, meaning you need to be registered for all these programs within 10 days. You may not actually start going to classes in 10 days. Now, with regard to the Smart Start mobile, theoretically, you're on 4 blows a day right now. I'm gonna crank that up to 6 blows a day. If you show me a clean 30-day period of time without missing any blows at 6 blows a day and no high brax or alcohol, I'll put you back down to 4. If you do that, I won't know you've done it. You gotta let your lawyer know. He'll let me know. I'll confirm through Ms. Gross, and then I'll crank you back down to 4. On the weekly UAs, show me 4 clean weekly UAs with no marijuana or other colorful substance in it, and I'll put you back on monthly UAs. And once again, I will not know if you've done that. You gotta let your lawyer know. He'll let me know, and I'll get it confirmed through probation. Susan, what did I miss on this one?
Judge, I just need to make sure that you notate on your instructions to the clerks to make Smart Start 6 times per day. I will reach out to his officer and have it increased today. So watch your mailbox, Mr. Lobig. Ms. Benavides is going to be sending you and your attorney both a new application and data sheet. You need to fill those out right away and return them. So after we get done with the hearing, don't leave, because the deputy's going to have to print out some paperwork for you. You need to fill that out and return it right away. And then once you get out, probation will be reaching out to you hopefully by Tuesday. If you haven't heard from them, get in touch with your officer and let them know that you need a new orientation appointment, because you're starting all over. So you got to sign new paperwork and everything else. Okay, do you have any questions?
Any questions, Mr. Lobig?
No.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send the paperwork right now through Adobe Sign. I'm hoping that Ms. Benavides can do her part, and it's really simple for her. You're the one that's gonna have to fill out more of the information. That way, while we're doing all of this, you can get this done, and then it will go where it needs to go. Okay, so let's get that done. I'm gonna send it right now, Alma.
I'm waiting
Oh,
for it. As soon as I
okay.
get it, sign it and send it forward.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you.
back on the record, Mr. Lovick gets credit for any programs he's completed or community service hours. Well, he doesn't have community service hours. And any monies he's paid, that kind of stuff, he gets credit for all that. Recalling all pretrial services, bond conditions, and warrants. All this will probably kick in tomorrow. So good luck, Mr. Lovick. Thank you, Ms. Benavides.
Thank
Happy
you, Your
birthday,
Honor.
Judge.
Thanks.
May I be,
Judge,
oh, I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until all the paperwork's signed.
thank you, Alma. Judge, can I give my spiel to everybody else now?
Please, that would be wonderful.
Awesome. As far as anyone that is expecting to be placed on probation today, if you currently do not reside in Bexar County or the state of Texas, you need to let your attorney know so that you can advise the judge prior to your plea. That way the judge will know how to handle your case and whether it will need to be transferred. If you have intentions of moving out of Bexar County or out of the state of Texas, you also need to bring that to the attention of the court before your plea. After you are done here today, if you've not heard from the probation department, by the time you wake up on Wednesday morning of next week, you need to call this telephone number. Please obtain a pencil and write this down. I will repeat it twice. It is 210-335-7446. That will be for the orientation department. So if you are not contacted by probation by next Wednesday morning, you need to call that number. It is your responsibility to make sure that you go through orientation and sign your paperwork. Failure to do so will result in a new warrant being issued for your arrest and you being right back here. Okay. Again, that phone number is 210-335-7446. Does anyone at this moment in time know if you reside outside of Bexar County or Texas? If so, please speak up.
I do, ma'am. William Swinehart
All right. Where are you living right now, Mr. Swinehart?
in Bandera, Texas.
All right. And would you want to drive to Bexar County to report, or would you prefer to report out there?
Out here, man, it'd be a lot closer. It's about a
Okay.
45-minute drive for me to go to San Antonio.
All right. So Judge, that will be one. He's the third to last one on page 2. Anyone else? Awesome. Thank you all. Judge, that's all I've got. If you don't need me, I will excuse myself.
You're out of here. Thanks for your help.
All right.
Pat, I just signed the second document on Mr. Munoz.
Yes, sir. I'll send.
As soon as I get that back, we're ready to proceed. And the batting order is going to be cause 66711, State of Texas versus Angelica D. Alvarez, represented by Mr. Robert Gaona. Are you ready to proceed, Mr. Gaona?
Yes, we are, Judge.
Thank you. Next is cause 656187, State of Texas versus William F. Swinehart Jr., represented by Ms. Stephanie Esparza. Mrs. Esparza, are you ready to proceed on Mr. Swinehart?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Third is cause 652164, State of Texas versus Alex Polendo, represented by Mr. David Christian. Mr. Christian, are you ready to proceed? Is it happy hour yet? We lost David already? Is he on anymore, Pat, or did we lose him?
Judge, he left when you talked to him and told him he was number 3 from the bottom.
All right, well then we'll pull him out of the batting order. Then 646324, State of Texas versus Ricardo Nino, represented by Miss Marissa Ion. Miss Ion, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then cause 665781, State of Texas versus Daniel I. Munoz, and there's another one coming, represented by Mr. Cornelius Cox. Mr. Cox, are you ready to proceed?
We might have lost him as well, Your Honor. They may be still in a breakout room, Your Honor.
Can you check and see if that is going?
That's what I'm gonna do. Yes, they're still in a breakout room, Your Honor.
Tell them we're ready for the plea if they're ready.
Yes, sir.
All right, bear with me. I've got to go off camera for a minute and get this paperwork.
Your Honor, he says he needs 5 minutes.
Pat, do I need to go into a breakout room with my client? to sign?
You can, and then tell him, I will put you in a breakout room, and that way you can explain to him what he needs to do.
Okay, very good.
Mama. Go into room 4.
Okay,
Mr. Go into room 4 so he can go over it, and the deputies can look for your paperwork.
okay, thank you.
Okay, and I'm sorry, Pat, did you say that Mr. Cox needs 5 more minutes? Is that what you
Yes,
indicated?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Lobig, hit join. There should be a button. David Christian's coming back in, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Christian, are you back with us?
Yes, Judge, I'm back.
Are you ready to proceed on cause 652-164, State of Texas versus Alex Palindo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all good. Let's see. All right, so right now, as we speak, Mr. Cox is not with us. He's in a breakout room, correct? Pat, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, he's in a breakout room.
All right. Batting order once again, Angelica Alvarez, William Swinehart, Alex Palindo, and Ricardo Nino. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at documents entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which purports to have both yours and your attorney's signature on it. Miss Alvarez, in clause 626-711, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Gaona, as attorney for Miss Alvarez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Swinehart, in clause 656-187, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mrs. Sparza, as attorney for Mr. Swinehart, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Palindo, in clause 652-164, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Christian, as attorney for Mr. Palindo, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. Mr. Nino, in clause 646-324, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Ion, as attorney for Mr. Nino, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Ms. Alvarez, in clause 626-711, is this your signature on this document also, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Swinehart, in clause 656-187, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. And in clause 652-164, Mr. Palindo, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Nino, in clause 646-324, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Each of you, by signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys. So that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Ms. Alvarez?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
Is that correct, Mr. Swinehart?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Palindo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And is that correct, Mr. Nino?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Gaona, as attorney for Miss Alvarez, have you had enough time to go over this case with her, and then your opinion is she mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mrs. Sparza, as attorney for Mr. Swinehart.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Christian, as attorney for Mr. Polendo?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Ion as attorney for Mr. Nino.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Alvarez, are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Thank you. Mr. Swinehart, same question.
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Polendo, same question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Nino, same question.
Yes, I am.
All right, now we're cooking. And Mr. Guyona, in Ms. Alvarez's case, has the state fully complied with discovery for you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
Same question for Mrs. Sparza as attorney for Mr. Swinehart.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Christian as attorney for Mr. Polendo.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Ion as attorney for Mr. Nino.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see what we're doing on Ms. Alvarez's case. Ms. Alvarez, in cause 626-711 to the charge of theft, $100 to $750. How do you plead, ma'am?
no.
No
No.
contest. Is that actually correct?
Yes, sir.
Court
Yes,
accepts a
sir.
plea of no contest. Is there an agreement for Ms. Alvarez?
Yes, Your Honor, there is. It will be a $0 fine. Court costs 16 days, Bear County Jail, time and money to run concurrent, credit for time served. And if it pleases the court, this would be a judgment satisfied.
And Mr. Guyona, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, it is, Judge.
Ms. Alvarez, in cause 626-711, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of theft, $100 to $750. I find you guilty. I said 16 days in Bear County Jail, a $0 fine plus court costs. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Alvarez?
Nothing further from the state.
Good luck, Ms. Alvarez. Thank you, Mr. Guyona. Y'all are dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Judge.
Let's see what we're doing with Mr. Swinehart. Mr. Swinehart, to the charge of assault, bodily injury, family, household. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty and no contest.
And state, is there an agreement for Mr. Swinehart? And we're talking about cause number 656-187 at this time.
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is for a $500 fine, but we will recommend that $200 of this be probated. Court costs 12 months deferred adjudication, 36 hours community service, which we will also recommend to be probated. My understanding is, I believe that is due to military service. The Batterers Intervention Prevention Program, an affirmative finding of family violence, no contact with Isaiah Craig, and the state will take into consideration cause number 656-188.
And Mrs. Sparta, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor. I did want to point out one thing. On the paperwork, there was nowhere to put that Mr. Swinehart does have a felony conviction. It only does not. So we just wanted to clarify that for the court. We weren't able to correct it electronically.
And I'm sorry, say that one more time. What are we clarifying?
Oh, I'm sorry. On the plea paperwork, when he applies for deferred, it says that he swears he does not have a felony conviction. So there's no way to adjust that. And he does. And so we wanted to just make sure the court had that information.
I think as long as nobody objects, that goes right through. State, do you have any objection?
No objection.
Okay,
Okay.
then we're good.
Thank you, Judge. He just didn't want to sign it and not be correct.
And who is Mr. Isaiah Craig to Mr. Swinehart?
He's my nephew, Your Honor.
All right, so you don't really have any reason to see him in the future while you're on probation, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, all good.
And yes, Your Honor, that is our understanding of the agreement. He
And
does
yet-
live in Bandera County, so we would ask if he could be transferred to Bandera.
And I'm sorry, where are we transferring this? Oh, is this Bandera?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're transferred to Bandera County, not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Are we TIC-ing clause 656-188?
Yes, Judge.
State point of order, and Mr. Sparta might want to throw in here. If Mr. Swinehart is on 1 year deferred adjudication, Normally, we don't make an affirmative finding of family violence unless they have an actual final conviction. Now, I'm not saying that that can't be done, but I've never seen it done. Normally, if they get deferred adjudication probation, they do not get an affirmative finding of family violence. State, what is your understanding of that?
My understanding, Judge, is that it is made, and I've always seen it made in my previous experience.
And Mrs. Sparza, what's your understanding of what the law says about that?
I believe it's required, Your Honor.
I mean,
If someone else knows any better, please speak up.
I'm not saying it can't be done. I've just never seen it done.
I mean,
And Mr. Christian, you're my expert. What's the status of the law on that? Dave, what's the status of the law on that affirmative finding of family violence on a deferred? Anybody know? Throw in here.
Judge, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for asking me. I got the Christian brain on right now. Sorry about that.
Lewis, can you talk to us or are you on a phone call?
So, Judge, the question is can there be an affirmative finding if someone gets deferred? Yes, the answer is yes.
They can. All right. And so that's the agreement. Is that correct, Mrs. Sparza?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, fair enough. Okay, Mr. Swinehart, in cause 656-187, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of assault, bodily injury, family. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt, place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation. It says a $500 fine, probating $200 of that plus court costs. BIPP, family violence course, affirmative finding of family violence, no contact with Isaiah Craig, taking into consideration cause 656-188, which is granted and it shall be dismissed. Stephanie, what did I miss?
I don't know if you wanted to say that 36 hours community service probated, all probated.
I miss community service. I don't even show community service on the plea bargain. Is there some? 36 hours community service, probate all, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Say, did I miss anything else?
I don't believe so, Judge. I believe that's everything.
All right, we're good. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Swinehart?
Nothing from the state.
Good luck, Mr. Swinehart.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Judge. Just say it will be transferred to Bandera County. Is that
Correct.
right?
That's correct.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, y'all are dismissed. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, I apologize for that. I was on hold with pretrial services. Was the court needed something for me?
My question, no. My question was, were you aware of what the state of the law is on whether someone can receive an affirmative finding of family violence if he's on a deferred adjudication probation?
That's correct. They can.
All right, then that takes care of that. Thanks. Okay, let's see what we're doing, Mr. Polendo. Mr. Polendo, on cause 652-164 to the charge of reckless driving. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Polendo on 652-164?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is for a $200 fine, court costs, 8 months deferred adjudication, a driver safety course, 36 hours community service, and we will take into consideration cause number 646-214.
And Ms. Christian, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Judge, that is our agreement. Question becomes, is it okay if he makes a donation for community service? And also, he does have some conditions of bond. He's got the GPS on him, Judge, and we want to see.
We're gonna recall all that here in just a second. Not a problem on that.
Yes, sir.
What did the alleged reckless driving consist of? Is this merely a speed thing, or are we doing something else more colorful?
I believe it was driving within a parking lot or amongst a crowd and other cars. And
all right. Okay, Mr. Polendo, in clause 652-164, the court accepts your plea of no contest defense of reckless driving. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt, place you on 6 months, deferred adjudication probation, assess a $200 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety Aggressive Driving course, taking into consideration cost 646,214, which is granted, and it shall be dismissed. And the court has about a half a dozen designated court charities that we recommend, and he can donate $10 an hour to, I think, special operations, wounded warriors, and family violence prevention services, those sorts of things, and get credit for community service hours if he'd rather do it that way.
Mr. Christian, I'll send you a copy of the list.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Palendo?
Nothing from the state.
Mr. Palendo. Mr. Palendo.
Sorry, Russ, should we ask the judge if he can write, state has no objection to early term?
That's fine. If you want to put it on the record.
Up to the state.
I don't have any objection, Judge.
All right, then I'll just let him know when he does everything. Mr. Palendo, I want you to make sure you don't keep driving like your attorney, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
I've seen him drive before. It ain't pretty. All right, good luck, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Judge. Thanks for being patient with me. Bye-bye.
You betcha. All right, let's see what we're doing on Mr. Nino. State, you got a motion?
Yes, Your Honor. The state will be moving to waive and abandon the 0.15 enhancement and proceed as a Class B DWI first.
No objection from the defense. That will be granted.
No objection.
Okay, Mr. Nino, in cause 646324 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Nino?
Yes, Your Honor, there is. It will be for a $650 fine, court costs, 180 days in the Bexar County Jail, suspended and probated for a term of 14 months, 8 hours community service, DWI education, victim impact panel, CAT SNP, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, random UAs, and $60 in blood draw to DPS, and also restitution, if any, to Daniel Ramos.
Ms. Ion, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, that's our understanding, and restitution has already been paid through insurance.
Okay, great. Make sure his probation officer knows that. Okay, Mr. Nino, in cause 646324, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 14 months, a $650 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for 1/2 the term, which is 7 months. Regular urinalysis tests, reimbursement of $60 for a blood test, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and restitution, if any, to Daniel Ramos. And Ms. Ion affirms that that is not going to be an issue. So that's all good. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Nino?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, everybody's dismissed. We're going to recall all pretrial services, bond increases, and warrants, and anything else that might be out there for everybody. So we're good on that. Okay, Cornelius, are you back and ready to go?
Mr. Nino, you can log off at this point.
Is Cornelius with us again?
I'm right here, Judge.
Oh, there you are. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, all good. Let me take a 2-minute break to get organized. We got a bunch of BTC pleas we're getting ready to do here.
Wait, that cat nips program, Judge, what is that? Anybody know?
CAT's NIP is, it is CAT's new intervention program. It would be the like It's an explanation and it's general information regarding a whole bunch of stuff. It's like the DWI class, but it's a little bit more. It goes into life skills and stuff.
Okay.
So it's just like a drug course, or yes, or a DWI course.
Okay, back on the record. At this time, we're going to take up pleas on cause 661-201 and 665-781, State of Texas versus Daniel Munoz, represented by Mr. Cornelius Cox. Mr. Cox, are you ready to proceed?
Ready, Judge.
And then we've got 2, 4, 6, Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Pleas 1, 2, 3 are track 1 pretrial diversion pleas and probation agreements, and 3 are track 2, either deferred adjudication or regular probation. And cause 664501, this is a track 1 Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court plea and probation agreement, State of Texas versus Isaiah Lee McDonald, represented by Mr. Luis Martinez. Mr. Martinez, are you ready to proceed?
I am, Judge.
And I've got cause 664762, State of Texas versus Dylan Paul Getz, represented by Mr. Sid Greehey, the track 1 Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court pretrial diversion plea and probation agreement. Mr. Greehey, are you ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
Thank you. And I've got cause 661333, State of Texas versus Danielle Alexis Tisdale, represented by Mr. Ivan Barrera. This is a track 1 Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court pretrial diversion agreement and probation agreement and offer. And then we've got cause, these are all track 2, which are either deferred adjudication or regular probation in the Veterans Treatment Courts. VTC track 2 plea on cause 654467, State of Texas versus George Wesley Freeman. Once again, represented by Mr. Ivan Barrera. Mr. Barrera, are you ready to proceed on Mr. Freeman's case?
Yes, Judge, on both.
Thank you. And I got cause 671489, Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court track 2. Plea and probation agreement, State of Texas versus Desmond Davis, represented by Mr. George Sharman. Mr. Sharman, are you ready to proceed on Mr. Davis' case? We got George with us still?
I'm ready, Judge.
All good. And last but not least, we've got 652043, State of Texas versus Damarinda Bayless, a Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court track 2 plea and probation agreement, and represented by Mr. Sam Locke. Mr. Locke, are you ready to proceed?
We're ready, Judge.
Thank you. First document I'm looking at on each of these cases is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which purports to have both the defendant and the attorney's signature on it. Mr. Munoz, I have 2 documents for you, one in cause 661201 and one in cause 665781. Are these your signatures on both of these documents, Mr. Munoz?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Cox, as attorney for Mr. Munoz, are these your signatures on both these documents also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. McDonald, in cause 664501, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Martinez, as attorney for Mr. McDonald, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge, it should be.
And in cause 664762, Mr. Getz, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Greehey, as attorney for Mr. Getz, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Tisdale, on cause 661333, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Or Ms. Tisdale, I apologize. And Mr. Barrera, is this also your signature as attorney for Ms. Tisdale?
It is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Freeman, in cause 6544467, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
And Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Freeman, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Davis, in cause 6714489, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Sharman, as attorney for Mr. Davis, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Bayless, or Ms. Bayless, on cause 6520043, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Locke, as attorney for Ms. Bayless, is also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Munoz, I have two documents for you, one in clause 661201 and one in clause 665781. Are these your signatures on both of these documents, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. McDonald, is this your signature on this document in clause 664501?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gates, is this your signature on this document in clause 664762? Mr. Gates with us?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tisdale, is this your signature on this document in clause 661333?
Yes, sir.
Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. And Mr. Freeman, is this your signature on this document in clause 654467?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Davis, is this your signature on this document in clause 671489?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Bayless, is this your signature on this document in clause 652043?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. By signing this document, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys. So that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Munoz, in both of your cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. McDonald?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Gates?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Tisdale?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Freeman?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And is that correct, Ms. Bayless?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cox, as attorney for Mr. Munoz, have you had enough time to go over these cases with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Martinez, as attorney for Mr. McDonald.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Greehey, as attorney for Mr. Gates.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Burr, as attorney for Ms. Tisdale.
I have and she is.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Burr, as attorney for Mr. Freeman.
I have and he is.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Sharman, as attorney for Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Locke, as attorney for Ms. Bayless.
The answer is yes to both questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Munoz, are you a United States citizen in both cases, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. McDonald.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Gates.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Tisdale.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Freeman.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Bayless.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. As attorney for Mr. Munoz, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on both these cases, Mr. Cox?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Martinez, as attorney for Mr. McDonald.
Yes, they have, Judge.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Greehey, as attorney for Mr. Gates.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Ms. Tisdale.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Freeman.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Sharman, as attorney for Mr. Davis.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Locke, as attorney for Ms. Bayless.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Let's see what we're going to do on Mr. Munoz in 661201. That came off of this morning's document. Let me find that. Yes. Okay, State, you got a motion on cause 661201 for Mr. Munoz.
Yes, Your Honor. The state will be moving to waive and abandon the enhancement language and proceed as a Class B DWI first. And let me just make sure I did this correctly. Yes, for Mr. Munoz, that'll be the same motion for both cases on 661-201 and 665-781.
Okay. No objection from the defense. That will be
No
granted.
objection.
To both cases. Do a little writing here. Okay, in cause 665-781. Mr. Munoz, in cause 665-78. Hang on. Let me back up. 661-201. Let's try to stay in order here. On to the charge of driving while intoxicated. First offense, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Munoz in cause 661-201?
Yes, Your Honor, and it'll be the same agreement for both cases. It is going to be an $800 fine, court costs, 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, suspended and probated for a term of 18 months, 60 hours community service, the DWI intervention program, victim impact panel, CAT-SNP program, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term, and time. And we would recommend that time, money, classes, and everything else would be running concurrently.
That's correct.
Okay. Bear with me. I'm going to do some serious writing here. Mr. Cox, do we need to do like a 90-day Texas driver's license suspension so the state doesn't suspend it for a year or something like that?
I think that would be because since they're first, Judge.
These are two first, but I mean, it's a subsequent. I'm not sure how they look at that. Mr. Sharman, you're my expert on DWI stuff. What do we need to do on a driver's license suspension, if anything?
On his license, Judge?
He's got two DWIs, and I don't think he has any prior DWIs.
Well, I think that he just takes the DWI education class.
So will the state suspend his license no matter what we do?
Is it a first, Your Honor?
They're two first.
First. I mean, they're first and running concurrent.
They are going to consider two first as
subsequent
second. They're going to count it as two, and he's going to have to do intervention class.
Well, we've already got the intervention done. I'm just trying to minimize the time they suspend his driver's license.
As long as he takes the class, they should not suspend it.
All right, Cornelius, I'm not going to order anything on driver's license suspension. If you'd look into that, and I got 30 days to change it if we need to. But
all right, Judge.
Sometimes in certain circumstances, I'm asked by defense counsel to order 90-day suspension because they know the state's going to suspend it for a year if we don't do that. So that may or may not be applicable here. Okay.
Right. And just wait because you're going to run it concurrent, Judge, and they'll both be first.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Munoz, for the record, in clause 665-781 to the charge, or I'm sorry, state you got a motion on 665-781 too. That's a greater than 1.5 also?
Yes, Judge, we will be moving to waive and abandon the enhancement language.
Okay. Once again, no objection from the defense. That will be granted. Mr. Munoz, in clause 665-781 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
Also guilty.
And state is the same plea bargain on both cases?
Yes, Judge.
And Mr. Cox, is
correct,
that
Judge.
correct? All right,
That's correct.
let's make sure we get it right. In cause 661-201, Mr. Munoz, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated. First offense, I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated for 18 months, $800 fine plus court costs, 60 hours community service, DWI intervention, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for half the term, which is 9 months. This case to run concurrent with 665-781. Recall all pretrial services, bond conditions, and or warrants previously issued. Anything further from the state or the defense on 661-201?
Nothing from the
Just
state.
one question, Judge.
Sure.
So it'd be either the interlock or the in-home device?
No, we only use the Smart Start mobile device. That way we can monitor folks 24 hours a day.
That's fine, Judge.
All right.
Okay, that's
In
fine.
cause-
I had a question.
Sure.
I have also a breathalyzer in my car from Draeger, and it's been there for about like since August 19, 2021.
Do you have
So
a
the car
Smart Start?
hasn't-
I'm sorry, go ahead. Do you have a Smart Start mobile device at this time, Mr. Munoz?
I have, yes, I have this one, and I have the Draeger Smart Start.
All right, well, turn in the Draeger because you got the Smart Start mobile active, correct?
Yeah, they just needed a release form or like a removal form.
Mr. Cox will have to get with us, and I think we have an order form at the office that we can whip up for you, no problem.
Okay.
All right. All right. So back on the record on 665-781, Mr. Munoz, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty on that one.
Court accepts your plea of guilty. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated for 18 months, an $800 fine plus court costs, 60 hours community service, DWI intervention, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for 9 months, which is 1/2 the term. This case to run concurrent with 661-201. Anything further from the state or the defense of Mr. Munoz and 665-781?
Go, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state.
All right, one final warning, Mr. Munoz, you now have 2 DWI convictions. If you get arrested again, it's a felony.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure Mr. Cox will be happy to take all your hard-earned money and defend you on that one, but it's going to be a game changer if that happens. So I suggest that we don't even think about drinking and driving down the road, okay?
I understand.
Good luck, Mr. Munoz. Thank you, Mr. Cox.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, this is cause 664-501, Theta, Texas versus Isaiah Lee McDonald. This is the Bear County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 1, pretrial diversion plea and probation agreement. And did this start out as a DWI first? It's always been a first, is that correct, state?
Let's see here. I lost the page. Which case was this, Judge? Make sure. I'm
This is
looking.
Isaiah Lee McDonald, 664-501.
Yes, Judge, it's a first. It's a true first.
All right, great. Mr. McDonald on clause 664-501 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, I've got no contest on the paperwork. I don't think the state cares whether it's no contest or guilty. State, do you care?
I do not care, Judge.
Can we use no contest, Mr. Martinez? Would that be okay?
That would be fine with me, Judge.
All right, court accepts the plea of no contest, the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I'm going to take your plea of no contest, hold it in abeyance, place you on Bear County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 1, pretrial diversion for 1 year. Says that $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or another designated VTC provider. And any restitution in this case, hopefully not. No restitution.
No, Judge.
Requiring your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court, issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, Mr. McDonald, I'm looking at a document entitled Pretrial Intervention Track 1, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney in the Bear County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites for your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. In fact, Mr. McDonald, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Martinez, as attorney for Mr. McDonald, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
And Mr. Lewis, I see a signature of an Everardo Villarreal, who allegedly is an assistant criminal district attorney. Can you verify that's his signature?
Yes, Judge.
All right, got everybody on contract. Now we're cooking. Okay, that's what I got. What'd you do in the military, sir?
I was an information technology specialist, basically a computer guy.
And were you in the Army or what's your service?
I was in the Army. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Did you go to the war?
No, sir, not at all. Tried to, but they wouldn't.
We're just going to spread a rumor you kept Al Qaeda and the Taliban out of wherever it was you were stationed. Okay.
Bingo.
That was a joke, sir. All right. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. McDonald?
Judge, you'll need to recall the warrant.
Yep. We're going to do that on everybody. Recall all pretrial bond orders and warrants. So that's all good. And that takes care of Mr. McDonald. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. And Ron, you going to call these guys tomorrow, or how are you going to hook up with these guys?
No, I'll give him a call after we're done today.
All right. Any questions, Mr. McDonald?
No, sir.
All good. Thank you, sir. Mr. Martinez, you're dismissed. Thanks.
Thank you. Isaiah, could you call me right now, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we're on 664-762, State of Texas versus Dylan Paul Gates, which is a Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion plea and probation agreement. Representative Mr. Sid Greehey. Mr. Gates, the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
Court accepts the plea of no contest, holds it in abeyance, places you on 1 year Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion, assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or another designated VTC provider. No restitution is necessary. You're requiring your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, Mr. Gates, I'm looking at a document entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney and the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. In fact, sir, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Greehey, as attorney for Mr. Gates, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And once again, Mr. Lewis, I see that Mr. Villarreal has signed this document, and can you confirm that he is an assistant criminal district attorney?
I can, Judge.
All good. What you do in the military, Mr. Gates?
A little bit of everything. Physical therapy primarily, Your Honor.
Were you Army or what were you?
Yes, Army, Your Honor.
Did you go to the war?
I did. I went to Afghanistan a couple of years ago.
Iraq or Afghanistan or both?
Just Afghanistan, but all around Afghanistan. So if there's a place in Afghanistan that's not in the western quarter, then I've been there.
What years were you in Afghanistan?
18, 19.
Okay. Thanks for your service, sir. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Gates?
Nothing from the state.
Yes. Mr. Gates. Thank you, Mr. Greehey. All are dismissed.
Your Honor, if I may.
Sure.
I went over the orientation packet with my client. He is currently prescribed THC for PTSD. Reading through the orientation packet, it said that even with a legal prescription, you're not allowed to take THC. I would just ask the court if they could make an exception for my client's PTSD. It is legally prescribed.
Here's the problem, and I understand exactly what you're saying, and I get this a lot. The problem is we can't tell with the urinalysis test, it's going to have a positive hit for marijuana. And obviously he's got a medical prescription for it, but we can't tell if that's coming from a medical prescription or an entertainment amount of marijuana. So we don't let anybody use it. So if you want to be in the Veterans Treatment Court, you can't use any THC products. There's all kinds of other medical stuff out there that you can use. I understand that you would rather use this, but if you want to be in the VTC, you can't use it. It's just that simple. So if you want to go in a breakout room and talk to your client before we process all his paperwork.
I've discussed everything with him, Your Honor. That was my understanding. I just wanted to ask the court.
Yeah, that's the deal. We just can't tell the difference between an illegal substance or a medical substance when we give UAs. And so the only way we could really do that for everybody is not let anybody use it for medical purposes. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thanks, guys. Y'all are out of here.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Tisdale. Let's see what we're doing with you. Miss Tisdale, in cause 661-333 to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. How do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
Court accepts your plea of guilty, hold it in abeyance, places you on Bear County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial intervention for a period of 1 year, assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive veteran treatment court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service. DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. Let's see. And no restitution on this is word requiring your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court, issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, Ms. Tisdale, I'm looking at a document entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney, excuse me, and the Bear County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the terms and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. In fact, ma'am, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Barrera, is this your signature as attorney for Ms. Tisdale?
It is, Your Honor.
And then let's see who I've got from the DA's office on this. And once again, I've got Mr. Villarreal's signature, and Mr. Lewis, can you confirm that Mr. Villarreal is an active assistant criminal district attorney?
I can, Judge.
Oh, good. What'd you do in the military, Ms. Tisdale?
I'm a Spanish linguist.
Are you still active duty now?
Yes, sir.
And what service are you in?
Air Force.
And what is your job in the Air Force?
A Spanish linguist.
Okay, great. All right. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Tisdale?
Judge, can we give her proactive credit for the DWI education and victim impact panel?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Proactive credit for DWI education, the victim impact panel. Ron may want a copy of your graduation certificate. That's all we need to do. Anything further? All right. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Tisdale?
Hey, Judge, real quick, with Miss Tisdale being on active duty, I know in the past we've done a no contest because of her active duty status. Does that need to change from guilty to no contest?
That's a good idea. With the state's permission, let's change the plea of Ms. Tisdale on the Bear County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 plea and probation agreement from guilty to no contest. Is that okay with the state?
Works for us, Judge.
And is that okay with the defense?
That's fine, Judge.
Okay, we're good. Good luck, Ms. Tisdale. Thank you, Mr. Barrera.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see what we're doing with Mr. Freeman. Mr. Freeman, in cause 654467, and this is a Bear County Veterans Treatment Court Track 2 probation agreement. Mr. Freeman, in cause 654467 to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content greater than 0.15. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Freeman? Let's
Yes,
see.
Judge. And on this case, we did have a motion. We were going to waive and abandon the.
Okay.
enhancement.
Let me, Pat, our paperwork on the waiver of constitutional rights for Mr. Freeman needs to say DWI and not DWI with a BAC greater than 0.15 because the state's going to waive it. So state in cause 654467, my understanding is you're moving to waive the greater than 1.5 enhancement and making it a DWI first. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge.
All right, granted with no objection from the defense.
Okay, Judge.
You do a little writing here. So at midnight when I'm putting this on the computer, I'll remember what we did. And okay, so that being granted to the charge of driving while intoxicated first offense, Mr. Freeman, how do you plead?
No contest.
Okay, we're gonna change paperwork to no contest. It says guilty now, and that's not a problem. All right, now is there an agreement for Mr. Freeman?
Yes, Your Honor. There will be a $1,000 VTC fee and 12 months deferred adjudication, 48 hours community service probated, 12 months for DWI education, victim impact panel, Smart Start mobile for half the term, and successful treatment and completion through the VTC.
And Mr. Brewer, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Freeman, in clause 654-467, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation. Assess $1,000 fine plus court costs. DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day for half the term, which is 6 months. Outpatient drug through either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. 48 hours of community service prorated based on your military service. And that's what I got. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Freeman?
Yes, Judge. From the defense, can we give him credit for completion on the DWI education and the victim impact panel?
Sure. Ron, is that on your radar?
We were tracking that he had the DWI education done. Have you turned in the certificate, Mr. Freeman, to Ron Mora or myself?
Yes, sir. I emailed the certificates in. If I need to, I can try and re-email them, or if Mr. Barrera has them, and he can email them either way.
I have copies of them. I'll forward them to Mr. Childers.
Yep, that's not a problem, but he's certainly going to get proactive credit for all that.
Thank you, Judge. And one last thing, Judge.
Sure.
My client wanted to ask the court for some, I guess, a blanket motion or blanket request for him to travel to Uvalde County. He's building a home over there, so he's remodeling it. He goes back and forth very frequently. And so in order to avoid, continuously asking for permission, we'd ask the court if he'd be able to do that, I guess, on a regular basis.
Is he going to eventually move to Uvalde County?
That's correct, Judge. Not after he completes the program.
Okay. My position would be he's welcome to do that as long as it doesn't interfere with the requirements of the Veterans Treatment Court. So if he's supposed to be here for some sort of a docket call or be getting some sort of therapy or something at the VA and he wants to go to Uvalde, he can't go. He's got to do his VTC stuff first. So if that's okay with the defense, then he's welcome to do that.
That's fine, Judge. That'll work.
I'll put that down on his order. And Mr. Freeman, I didn't go over your contract. Let me ask you about your contract. I'm looking at a document entitled Track 2 Post Adjudication, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney and the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the terms and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. In fact, sir, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
And Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Freeman, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Lewis, I also have Mr. Villarreal's signature on this, and you're confirming for me that he is an active, real assistant criminal district attorney. Would that be accurate?
It is accurate.
All right. Everybody's on contract now. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Freeman?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing further, Judge.
What'd you do in the military, Mr. Freeman?
Your Honor, I was security forces for the Air Force, which is military police for the Army, for 17 years. And then I did a little over 5 years as a first sergeant.
Wow. Well, thanks for your service, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Okie doke. Y'all are dismissed. Mr. Davis, let's see what we're doing with you. So you got a motion on Mr. Davis' case, it appears.
Yes, Your Honor. State will be moved to waive and abandon the language for the .15 and proceeds to Class B DWI first.
Judge, is the state going to let us change the plea to no contest in this case?
Okay with me, but okay with them.
That's okay.
Okay, so that being granted, Mr. Davis to the charge of driving while intoxicated first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, Mr.
I'll give you a hint. No contest.
Yes, sir.
All good. All right. Is there agreement for Mr. Davis?
Yes, Your Honor, there is. It will be for, make sure I get that document open. There we go. Okay, it is for the $1,000 VTC fee, 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, suspended and probated for 1 year, 48 hours community service probated, DWI education, victim impact panel, Smart Start mobile for the term, and successful VTC treatment and completion.
And Mr. Sharman, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, the court in clause 671-489, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated first offense. I find you guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, $1,000 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service probating all that based on your military service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day for half the term, which is 6 months, and outpatient drug through the Veterans Administration or another designated VTC provider, successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Davis?
Your Honor, Mr. Davis has completed the victim impact panel and we received his certificate. So if we can get him credit for that, and he still needs to complete or turn in the certificate for the DWI education.
Sure. Proactive credit for victim impact panel granted, no problem. Okay, what you do in the military, Mr. Davis?
I'm personnel, sir.
Are you still active duty now?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Okay, thanks for your service, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, last but not least, Ms. Bayless. This is cause 652-043. State of Texas versus Dameron DeBayless. And let's see what we're doing. State, you got a motion on Ms. Bayless' case?
Yes, Your Honor. State will be moving to waive and abandon the enhancement language for a .15 and proceed to the DWI first.
No objection from the defense, that will be granted. Therefore, Ms. Bayless in cause 652-043 to the charge of driving while intoxicated. First defense, how do you plead, ma'am?
No contest.
And is there an agreement for Ms. Bayless?
Yes, Your Honor. It will be a $1,000 fine, court costs, 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, suspended and probated for 1 year, 48 hours community service, fully probated, DWI education, victim impact panel, Smart Start mobile for half the term, and successful Veterans Treatment Court treatment and completion.
And Mr. Locke, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Ms. Bayless in cause 652-043. The court accepts your plea of no contest. The defense of driving while intoxicated. First defense, I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, $1,000 fine plus court costs. 48 hours community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Veterans Administration, outpatient drug, or a designated VTC provider, or successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. I think that's it. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Bayless?
Your Honor, do you have to do the contract?
Oh, contract is good. My favorite part. This time, Ms. Bayless, I'm looking at a document entitled Track 2 Post Adjudication, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney in the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. In fact, ma'am, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Locke, as attorney for Ms. Bayless, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, it is.
And once again, Mr. Lewis, I see a signature of a Mr. Villarreal, and I need your confirmation that he is in fact a real Bexar County Criminal Assistant District Attorney.
Yes, Judge, he is.
All right, all good. What'd you do in the military, Ms. Bayless?
I work in a pharmacy, sir.
And are you still active duty right now?
Yes, sir.
Great. Thanks for your service. Sam, anything further?
No, Your Honor. We changed the plea to no contest and in accordance with what everyone else was doing. So
no, that's
thank you for that. Thank you for that consideration, Mr. Lewis. And I also want to thank all the other Veterans Treatment Court people for helping us get this case transferred. It was a task.
It was a task.
Was this one in two?
Yes, sir. And we went round and round and round and round and round for a long time, didn't we, Mr. Locke?
Yes, but I mean, we dragged everyone else here with us. So I'm thanking everybody. Thank you for your patience and your help.
Anytime we'll try. We'll try anyway.